Hello, everyone. Hi, this side Chartered Accountant Ashwini Bhanushali. So, today we are going to have a small demo session which we are going to learn about the global internal auditing standards. Yes, students. So, we are just going to take an initial overview of what we are going to learn in our CIE course. The first thing we are going to learn about the global internal auditing standards. Before I take the meaning of internal audit standards, let's understand the meaning of what do you mean by internal auditing. And before that, doing the internal auditing, let's understand what do you mean by the word auditing. Exactly. Auditing is actually a checkup or a checking procedure which is being done. So you'll know that before you write your paper and you're going to check or just review the question paper, right? And once, let's say you are done with your answer sheet, you don't submit your answer, you just go through the things that in case if anything is missed out, in case if anything is pending, we can rectify it before the final examiner checks it. Isn't it? Exactly. Exactly the same way for the companies also. So over here, to check the internal matters about the management and the company and their governance, the internal auditors are appointed. So when I say internal auditors, now internal auditors are acting as a health checkup team for the company. Yeah, definitely. So they are going to check whether the companies have followed the rules, procedures properly or not, whether the internal risks, fraud, error about the companies or the weaknesses of the companies, is it being figured it out or not? If yes, internal auditors can also help and give certain recommendation, improvements, and even they help the management to take the better decisions. So for that, we have the global internal auditing standards, which are acceptable as whole. So first, we are going to learn about the first domain, the basic purpose of internal audit standards, and the domain 2, which speaks about ethics and professionalism. So students, yes, let's understand basically the purpose of internal auditing. So over here, this is just a straightforward definition of internal auditing. I am not going into the definition first. Let's understand the basic meaning in a simplified version of internal auditing. So I'll give you one example for that. Okay. Let's suppose a company is having a cash department. Okay. An internal auditor is coming and checking, and they'll see okay, whether the cash receipts are properly recorded, checked. Whether the cash payments are properly recorded, checked. Whether the cash is protected from the theft, okay. Whether the company has any policies to take care of the same, yes. If auditor finds that the things are not in the proper way, then they will suggest the improvements which the organization can do. For that purpose, we need internal auditing done. So before that, I'll just brief out the definition. It says that internal auditing is a systematic examination of the organization's activity which goes on so that you can ensure that whatever the risks, doubts, trouble were there, they are managed properly beforehand only. And the company can have a control and they can achieve their objectives wisely. So here the definition says that internal auditing strengthens the organization's ability to create, to protect, and to maintain the value by providing the board and the management with independent, risk based, and objective assurance, advice, insight, and foresight. So, if you break down the words, students, it simply says that internal auditing is not like an examiner who is going to check, who is going to punish you. No, they'll help you, they'll protect the organization, and they'll try to maintain and give advice if any trouble comes into it. Yes. So, students, internal audit, let's understand the basic enhancers. Okay. So, there are certain features of internal auditing. It needs to be independent, definitely. It should have objectivity, risk based, and assurance and advisory. Did you find these words? Yes. So above it was written independent, risk based, and objective assurance, advice, insight, and foresight. Now, what do you mean by these words? What do you mean by these words? Yes. So, students, these are the key features in an internal auditing. When it says independent, that means, let's say if we all are the independent auditors, we need to give the judgments which are independent, free from any management's influences. No, it should be objective. Means independent means it should be free. Okay. Objective assurance means, students, whenever we are giving our opinions, it should be definitely unbiased. It should not be behind the influence of the management. Oh, my management is my relative, so I am just getting influenced by the same. No, it should not be the same. Risk based means they should actually, very importantly, very importantly, the internal auditing team should assess the risk which is there. So mostly they'll focuses on the core area where they can find the manipulation at a higher place. Along with that, they'll give assurance, means they'll provide confidence that whatever we are going to do the work, it's going to be proper. They'll give the advice, they'll give the insight which is going on, and they'll give the recommendations and the forcing stuff. Okay. Moving it ahead, the internal auditing enhances. So what it is going to enhance? And second, most effective when. Okay. So before I take into detail of internal auditing enhances, I hope this basic understanding of the topic you are learned with it. Like, I don't think that more it has a trouble into it, right? Yeah. So I told you a simple meaning. Yeah, it needs to be independent. Independent means an auditor. Like, okay, I can help you with the meaning of it. Okay. When it says independent, an auditor, for example, I am reviewing finance department. So definitely I should not be going into and I should not be a finance manager. Otherwise, I can do a manipulation. When it says risk base, okay, when it says risk base, yeah, here, the auditors should focus on the areas which are higher risky. For example, there's a bank and bank is spending so much of money for audit. You know why? Because the bank needs to have a first and the foremost thing of fraud detection. Yes. Objective. Auditor means to be unbiased. That means if an auditor feels that in this company, if there are certain weaknesses, though it is the close friend, still they should disclose it. Assurance. So over here, it is like the auditing team, yeah, the internal auditor should provide confidence that the controls and processes are working properly. Then advice, obviously, if they would want certain advice regarding, today AI is going on like, oh my God. So if they want anything about cybersecurity, about safety measures, so our company as an CIA, definitely we can help. Okay. Then foresight means here, sometimes we have to also help the management to think about future. Future means we need to give warnings to the management. Okay, if you are using this AI tool or technology or cyber stuff, there can be certain threats. Means I can guide them way in advance. Yeah. Now, internal auditing enhances. So the first thing we have to understand how the internal auditing helps an organization. First, they're telling successful achievement of the objectives. For going successful achievement of the objectives. Here, internal auditor guys, definitely they're going to help the organization's goals to be achieved in an efficient and an effective way. For example, if the company wants to increase sales by 20%, the auditor is going to review the whole process. Exactly. The auditor is going to help. Okay, where can we reduce the expenditure and how can I achieve the sales? So they'll help us to achieve the objectives. Second, governance, risk management, and control. So internal auditing evaluates whether the structure, the governance is properly made or not. The risks are identified or not. The controls are proper or not. For example, they'll review this whether maximum limit the company can borrow loans. Have they exceeded or not? So all those things they'll check. And lastly, they'll help to take better decision making. Okay, so decision making and oversight. To take the better decision and oversight. So, when the internal auditor reports the weaknesses, for example, let's say in the inventory management or purchase department, they have reported, okay, this things is the weakness. So what will happen? Beforehand only, the company, the management can change the way how they are doing it, and they can actually save a lot of losses which might occur in the future. Yeah, so this can happen. Yeah. Now, most effective when. So over here, it is being said that okay, this is how the work actually goes. But when is this internal auditing very much important and very much, effective? So the standard says that internal auditing works best when better these three conditions are satisfied. Yeah, when is this achieved? When students, these three conditions, once they are getting it satisfied, it is best. The first is performed by competent professionals per standard. Now, just imagine if I am not qualified as a CIA and I don't possess that much knowledge, I'm just going and doing the auditing, just taking. Guys, that is not correct, right? I need to be a competent professional. That means I should have knowledge, skill, experience, professional expertise, right? I need to be a CIA. Okay, I should have given the exam of CIA. I need to be a certified auditor who is trained with these auditing procedures and standards. Okay. Second, independently positioned with direct board accountability. Independently positioned means, students, this is very important. Can I say like that way? That my father is a CEO of the company. I want to be, students, there will be familiarities. Like I need to be betterly independent. My position should be very much independent. Means I should have my own views to take it. I should not be influenced, neither I should be pressurized by anybody else. And lastly, I should be free from undue influences and objective assessment. So, if an individual person wants to be, if I want to be appointed as a CIA in a particular company, for example, okay, the main thing is I need to be an independent person. Okay, I should give whatever my views are there, whatever my suggestions are there, whatever I want to advise them without any fear, okay, without any breach or without any thought process that it will be influenced, okay. So I need to give a fair view, okay, to the company or the organization, to the organization. Yes, only then it will be achieved. Then I should, if an auditor finds any such things, he should not be having a fear. The auditor should not fear that if I am speaking this up, maybe I'll be thrown out of the, or maybe my position will be at endangered. And sometimes, if I am having a fear that, oh my God, if I report this, if I figured it out, let's say, for example, a manager is involved in doing certain fraud, okay, and I want to inform it, say, for example, to the CEO or to the top management. So I should not fear that if I leak this information or if I tell it, then maybe they'll remove me out. So without that fear, I should work. Only then it will be effective. Only then it will be effective. I hope it's pretty easy. Yes. Can we proceed it ahead? Yeah. Now this was the first domain that we learned, basically the purpose of internal auditing. Now we have the domain 2, which speaks about ethics and professionalism's 5 principles, which are one of the most common principle as every qualified person should possess. Now, say for example, I am appointed as an internal auditor. Okay, I am appointed as an internal auditor. So what principles or what ethics I should follow that will make sure that whatever work I am doing it is going to be perfect. It is going to be not like it's going to be free of biasness. How can, like, because see, whatever the auditor reports, whatever the auditor signs, you'll know that the investors, the stakeholders, everyone is going to trust on the same, right? Definitely, if let's say I am a chartered accountant and if I'm signing the situation, people are going to trust that financials, they will keep a reliance that this thing is done properly. So we have to, as a CIA, as a professional, whenever we are working, we should not take bribe. We should not be doing any kind of a corruption, or we should not be like, taken away or driven away by any such financial matters. Yes. So we need to maintain the ethics. If we are maintaining the ethics, I can rest assure you that our work will be 100% properly done. Yeah. So, what are those fundamental ethics which every professional has to maintain? First, Betra, is integrity. I usually say it as PICOP, PICOP. Okay. I stands for integrity. Okay. PICOP. First of all, I stands for integrity. O stands for objectivity. P stands for professional, due diligence, competency and care. Other P stands for professional behavior. And the last C stands for confidentiality. So, as an individual person, as an individual qualified person, we need to maintain integrity, objectivity, professional due diligence, professional behavior, and confidentiality. You can see here P1, there is I need to maintain integrity, objectivity, competency, professional care, and confidentiality. So, these are the five things which I need to take care. So, if you see, again, I just speak out integrity, objectivity, competency, professional care, and confidentiality. Now, what do you mean by the word integrity? So, in detail, the first matter of integrity is explained, and down there is a word written. But let's move it ahead with the first principle, which is known as integrity. Let's understand the meaning of integrity. So, basically, this is the second domain that we are learning it. The purpose of the second domain is that the domain establishes the principle that every auditor have to follow. Why? Because people are building trust on us. Correct? It is going to ensure that the stakeholders can rely on the judgments which we have given. And it will guide the auditor in a difficult situation also. So first is we need to demonstrate the integrity. Integrity means I need to be honest. I need to do the work ethically. Whatever work I'm doing it should be trustworthy. So first of all, what do you mean by integrity? Now, I'll give you one simple example. Okay, let's try to, just take one example. Suppose, students, I am an auditor. Okay, I figured it out. A fraud which is being done by a senior, directly by a senior manager. Now the thing is, I know it is a fraud. I even wish to report it. I have received an evidences also. So what is my duty? I think let's do one thing. Let's not leak out anything because if I said they'll remove me out, because this is wrong. If I doing this way, then I am also giving up on my integrity. So here, I have to use my professional courage and I have to actually communicate this to CAE. We have a concept, we have a Chief Audit Executive, CAE. So we should feel safe. We should speak about it. Whatever I'm feeling it as a situation, I should speak. I should try making things comfortable. I should also try understanding what they want to express the opinion and all. So as an internal auditor, I have to be honest. I need to communicate properly. Whatever information I have it to the extent, I need to disclose it without hiding, without omitting any significant findings, which I figured it out. Okay, that is first and the most important thing. So internal auditors have to demonstrate the integrity in their work and behavior. That is telling the truth and doing the right thing, even when the situation is difficult or uncomfortable. Honesty. So I need to be truthful, accurate, clear, and open in all the communications which am I doing it. I should not make any false or misleading information just for my own benefits. Whatever material information I know it, I should disclose this. And finally, if I feel that I need the support, I can have a word with CAE, okay, so that they can help me out. The second, organizational ethical expectations. Now, what do you mean by that? Organizational ethical expectations. So here, The second point says that internal auditor have to understand the organization's ethical standards also. They need to also promote the ethical behavior. For example, okay, if the auditor identify anything internally which is unethical, yeah, they can report it. Like for example, if the auditor notices that Mr. X is taking a bribery, he is manipulating the records, or if he feels that there is any conflict of interest, especially what he should do, simply he can report it to the board management, or if he feels more required, he can report it to the chairman also. Yes. Along with whatever evidences he figured it out, he can just tell. So he has to understand and respect the contribute the ethical expectations, encourage and promote ethical behavior in the whole organization. If he finds he should report the behavior, if there is any kind of inconsistency, then they can report. If required, CAE will then report to the senior management if they feel that the board is only doing wrong. Then to the top management, they'll report. Lastly, legal and ethical behavior. So it says that students, internal auditor must follow all the laws, rules, regulations applicable. They can never be doing anything which is promoting illegalness. That means, for example, if I am discriminating as an internal auditor, if I am misleading, if I am bullying or harassing anybody, or if I'm claiming or making a false, let's say false audit report, or say for example, if I figured it out some important audit facts, findings, but I'm trying to conceal and hide it, or let's say I got some information about the company, I'm disclosing the confidential information. If it is so, students, this is very bad. Say, for example, an auditor whose CIA certification has been expired, for example, and still he is doing the work. So that is not correct. Say, for example, I am a chartered accountant. I am well in practice. So I should have my COP. But if that is only expired due to my misconduct, so I cannot do the work. That's what it is. I have to follow all the legal rules. So no illegal and discreditable activities can be done. We need to understand and follow the rules and regulations. Where required, I need to report it and never to do bullying, lying, or omitting the facts and findings. So this is what the first thing we have to, as an CIA, I need to have it as an ethical policies. First is to demonstrate the integrity, which means I need to be honest, and professionally, I should be courageous to speak up, to come ahead, okay, to speak up. I should be that much well equipped. I don't think that there is any doubt in it. I think that's fine. Are you all fine with it? Do you feel any doubts into it, or the things are going on an easier way? Shall we proceed it ahead? Can we go with the second point? Maintaining the objectivity. Yes. Maintaining objectivity means I need to be impartial and unbiased attitude. So the second thing is maintaining. Achha, I think it's visible fine. Just give me a moment. I think yeah, it was pretty fine. Okay. Maintain the objectivity. Now I got to know that one of my relative is head in the company, and he is giving me gifts, he is giving me car, he is giving me vacation things, he is giving me a lot of benefits. Ashwini, see, you have to just report it like this way. You have to just change it or something. So students, this is where the trouble comes. Objectivity means the internal auditor needs to maintain impartial, unbiased, and independent review. That means an internal auditor should not let the personal feelings get heavy on our professional stuffs, right? I should not favor anyone. My conclusions needs to be very much, actually on the base. It should not be something which is based on somebody else's decision, right? So here, for example, if an auditor is being, very much friendly with any departmental head, so what I'll do, whatever wrong also they are trying to show, I'll try to hide the stuff. So that will be very bad. So the first thing is individual objectivity. You can see here the first is individual objectivity. So, okay, before I take this, just give me a moment. Yeah, I think now it's fine. Let's understand the meaning of it, right? So, uh, an unbiased mental attitude, unbiased, that allows the internal auditor to make the professional judgment without any compromise. The first is individual objectivity. So when I speak up the word individual objectivity, it means as an individual person, better internal auditor will always maintain professional objectivity. You should be impartial. You should make all the decisions which are based on certain concrete evidences. Right? The common thing is sometimes I can be like, biased based on self review biased. Okay, I'll take that. I need to be impartial. I need to make judgments which should be balanced. I need to be aware of the potential biasness and I should have a self review. I can have familiarity threat also. I can have biasness risk also. Means what? Self review bias means reviewing your own work. Yeah. For example, an auditor is checking the procedure that he is only making it. Are the thing which I make it, how can I find it out what the mistakes are? I can have a familiarity threat also, or familiarity I can be biased also. For example, too much comfortable with Mr. X. So I am an auditor for let's say 20 years. So definitely I'll be very much comfortable because I know that my house, my bread butter is being run by them. Yeah, possible. And uncognious bias or prejudice means here allowing the personal benefits coming over here. Now, the second important thing is we need to safeguard the objectivity. So internal auditor must identify over here, guys, how we can safeguard our objectivity. So in internal auditor, what they should do to save it. So first of all, guys, they should try not taking, means here, the internal auditor identifies that there are threats, definitely. So to avoid the threat or to reduce the threat, to avoid the conflicts, what should they do? First of all, they should not even accept any kind of a gifts and favors. No expensive gifts, no free vacations, no favor, no rewards, nothing, 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 nothing. They should only accept their remuneration. That's all. Yeah. Second, conflict interest, right? So auditing a company which is owned by my relative, or if I am holding a shares in that company, or auditing a department in which I have only worked it recently, so I will be more biased, right? So you should not do that. So avoid actual potential or any kind of an impairments. Do not accept gifts. Avoid conflicts and make sure. Let's say I was in X department, okay, and I was doing that X department's activity. So I should leave the department and should not do that work for at least 12 months. Yes. Last but not the least, students over here, we need to disclose the impairment if possible. Means if objectivities are impaired, if I get to know कि shit here na, the things are not good. The objectivity is being compromised. So what to be done? So here the auditor, if he got to know that there is something which is fishy and the objectivity is getting compromised, he should instantly inform to CAE. They should disclose what the trouble is and if required, okay, what the CAE will do, the CAE will see. Okay, you have some issue, you have some objectivity trouble. Let's appoint another auditor. Let's reschedule the engagement. Let's change the audit team only and let's outsource the work. So this is what the CAE can do. So if I find that there are some trouble, I can disclose it and CAE will discuss it with the board. Then they will reassign, reschedule the stuff and CAE will check that the things are fit and fine or not. Okay. So this is the second principle that we need to maintain. That is maintaining the objectivity. Yeah. Maintaining the objectivity. Okay. I hope it's very pretty easy. Yes, maintaining the objectivity. Okay. Moving it with the third, we need to demonstrate the competency. Students, for that, yeah, we have to understand that am I, as an internal auditor, am I competent? The principle states that the internal auditor must have knowledge, skill, ability to do the work. If I want to do system audit and I don't know anything about the system, I am not a competent person. So what can I do? I can go into trainings, I can work under IT specialist people, I can take the expertise, advice and so on, right? So here also, students, what can I do? So competency. possess and obtain competencies for responsibilities. Okay, means if I require, I can tell the CAE, "Ki please help me, please train me for the same." Right? I can get the skills knowledge. I can then understand, I can learn from the global international auditing standards. That's what we are going to do. Perform only that much work which you know and try to continuously improve. So that's what it is being said. Okay, you can see here, students, if I want to achieve this competencies, what can I do? I can possess and obtain competency responsibilities. I can learn from this global internal auditing standards. I can engage in the services which I know that much only. CA can definitely help me with the skills required. Then I can try developing, sometimes in the communication skills, means like, how to report or how to write clear reports, how to find presenting and efficient findings, how to work and how to have a word with management and stakeholders and so on. Second, governance risks and controls. Governance risks and controls, GRC, means evaluating whether approvals are required or not. Yeah, to prevent fraud. Then business knowledge. Like, am I sufficiently, I'm having a knowledge of finance, accounting, IT department, operations and all. And lastly, I need to be fraud aware also. Yeah, definitely. If I'm feeling that any kind of a suspicious payment is done to any vendor, so I should use my brains, right? Lastly, here, I should get the CIA and other professional credentials. And if CIA finds that there is any differences, then they can help us. Okay. So this is based on the competency. And now, let's say this is one of the very important things. There is always, guys, CPD, continuing professional development. Students, once I got the degree, I am not 100% well equipped that I know each and everything. No, students. Even internal auditors must constantly maintain and improve their competencies, right? They should take the education, training, professional development. Like me, I have to also do CP hours. Yeah, there are certain hours. There is continuing professional education hours. I have to do it so that I can get updated to it. So I have to maintain continuously developing competencies. I have to pursue CPE hours and trainings. So the CIA holders must fulfill that CPE hours requirement. So there are particular hours that you have to completely take it for sure. Then I have to definitely daily things are getting updated. Self study. I have to attend conferences. On job they can give trainings. Let's going it ahead with what the new trends and settled are. Formal learnings I can do. Informal learnings I can do. On job training I can learn this certification courses, which will definitely help me achieve knowledge. Right. So stay to the trend. Understand the technologies, taking about the trainings, budgets, and doing the CP hours. So to get the degrees also and to get it updated. So that is something which is there. Demonstrating the competency. So students, these are the initial three things that we have learned: demonstrate integrity, objectivity, and competency. Moving it with the fourth point, which is known as professional care. So whenever, my dear students, if we are doing any work, can I just do your tick tick? Being very negligent? No. I should have a question mind. If I am having inventories count this much, show me how. When? How have you written? Why have you written? Show me physical stuff, everything. That means the principle says that an internal auditor have to perform their work with diligence, competency, professional judgment, and skepticism. It means we should follow the standards, we should plan, prepare things carefully, have to use our judgments, and a lot of questioning minds should be there. Okay. Due professional care does not mean perfection, huh? Guys, that is true. Auditors cannot be 100% perfect, but they should at least try to find each and every fraud, right? See, I'll tell you one thing. If I am an auditor, I am not an CID person, right, who is going to find each and every fraud. But I cannot work like, it's okay, let's work. No. I should keep my eyes, ears, brains open, right? Yes. So the first thing is, students, it says, planning and performing services with diligence, judgment, and skepticism so that I can be a competent auditor. First, how can I do though? So conformances of with the global standards. So conformance with the global standards means internal auditor must follow the global internal audit standards. They have to follow all the methodologies, techniques and all, so that they are having the things, they have the knowledge to be consistent, professionalism and so on. So if the standard require, for example, an individual person to document, so the auditor cannot skip the documentation, he has to do. But say for example, sometimes the law and regulation don't allow the company to disclose everything. So it's like a non-conformance. Means in certain countries, for example, they may prohibit auditors from getting the confidential information about the company. So how can the auditor rely? So in that case, what they can do, if they feel that all the things are not given to them, they can ask the CAE about the documentation. They'll try to find another alternative actions and work. So confidence, it says that students, we need to plan and perform as per the global internal auditing standards. We have to use the methodologies where required, make the documentation of the non-conferences, and if required, guys, please take the help of CAE. Second, we need to maintain the due professional care. Definitely. Due professional care. Auditor have to consider a lot of factors. If they feel, yeah, the company feels, yeah, the organization strategy, if the company's goals are made, so it is the auditor who will be helping them to achieve it, right? So first of all, to achieve the success, even the auditor should understand what the company wants to achieve. So we have to consider the strategy, objectivity, and what the stakeholder wants. Then we have to assess the governance and risks which are revolving and try to reduce it. Now, by implementing the audit, we are doing a lot of expenditure. The company is doing a lot of expenditure for the internal audit. Let's say their cost for applying the internal audit is 50 lakhs. Okay. And in return, they are getting the benefit of only 500,000 or 5,000. Guys, that is wrong, right? So your cost and benefit ratio should also be meeting. Yeah. And we have to use a proper technologies, that's for sure. Yes. And lastly, but not the least, professional skepticism. So when I speak about the word professional skepticism, we need to maintain integrative attitude always means internal auditor should always have a questioning mind. So whatever information is given to you, whatever evidences are given to you, you need to verify it. You need to look into these situations. You should not simply say, yeah, whatever you have given, I am accepting. Why? How? Where is the evidences? Are the evidences relevant, reliable, sufficient, honest or not? So that all detail checking you have to do, whether it is reliable, whether the evidence is complete, whether the facts and logics are there. You can trust that? If yes, only then you can proceed it ahead, okay? Not otherwise. And last but not the least, you have to maintain the confidentiality. So the auditor is like getting information inside it. So let's leak it. No, we have to maintain, we have to give a due respect and we need to maintain the confidentiality also, right? So here it says that internal auditor, internal auditor uses and protects the information properly. So confidentiality, personal benefits and data should not be leaked out. So here, as an individual auditor, we have to follow all the policies, laws. Information must not be used for the personal gain. Then whenever we are getting any kind of an access, we should not use it, okay, for the personal benefits. We have to maintain stewardship, how effective and how efficient it can be. If I am feeling that the things are not going properly, definitely we can discuss with CEA. Where required, we can put passwords, encryptions, and definitely no insider trading should be done. If I'm getting the information internally, should not leak out, right? Lastly, how to protect the information. So guys, we need to be aware of the responsibilities as if I am getting a sensitive information as an auditor. I need to use it. I need to protect it. I need to keep it confidential. I need to maintain the custody. If I'm getting some records, I have to keep it safely and never to disclose the information to any third party without getting or without approval of the original client. Maintain the risk and if required, just have a word with CEA. And that's all, my dear students. With these, we have completed the most 5 important ethics that we have to maintain. That is integrity, objectivity, competency, due care, and confidentiality. So this was just a simple, overview. That's what we have just taken. And these are the key takeaways that we have learned for today's small demo lecture. So I hope that you have understood the initials of the basically domain 1 and domain 2, which was simple and easy. So yeah, this was just a simple demo. I hope that you all understood it. So how important an internal auditor's role it is and what all things they should manage is what we have learned. So hope to see you again. Thank you so much. Take care.